In the shadowy depths of the Cold War, one man's betrayal unraveled America's most daring espionage mission. Meet Ronald Pelton, the KGB's disposable spy. In October 1971, amid the tense atmosphere of the Cold War, a peculiar U.S. Navy submarine, the USS Halibut, silently ventured into the icy waters of the Okhotsk Sea, deep within Soviet territory. Unlike conventional submarines, the Halibut carried no offensive weapons, but was equipped with an array of specialized devices, including small diving pods and remotely operated robots, making it a true spy ship. Its mission, codenamed Operation Unveils, was one of the boldest and most high-risk intelligence operations ever undertaken by the Central Intelligence Agency CIA and the National Security Agency NSA. The Halibut's goal was not to locate Soviet warships or missile launchers, but to target something far less conspicuous, yet strategically invaluable: an undersea communication cable. This cable connected the Soviet Navy's main base in Petropavlovsk to the Pacific Fleet headquarters in Vladivostok. Situated in heavily guarded Soviet waters, the Soviets believed the line was immune to eavesdropping and thus left it unencrypted, creating a goldmine of intelligence for the United States. The Halibut's task was to pinpoint the cable's exact location and attach a massive 20-foot-long, over 6 meters recording device to it. This device, known as the Bug, would covertly capture every conversation, command, and piece of data transmitted through the line. To retrieve the recorded data, U.S. submarines had to return every few months to remove the old Bug and install a new one. Operation Unveils quickly became an invaluable intelligence source. From 1972 to 1980, the U.S. gathered extensive details about Soviet submarine technology, missile capabilities, and combat readiness. This information was critical, providing deep insights into the Soviet Union's nuclear deterrence and military strategies unattainable through other espionage methods. However, the secret did not last forever. In September 1980, when a U.S. submarine returned to the Okhotsk Sea to replace the device, they found the Bug missing. The daring and covert mission had been exposed. It was later revealed that the culprit behind the leak was an American, a former NSA employee named Ronald Pelton, who betrayed his country for money. Born in 1941 in Benton Harbor, Michigan, Ronald Pelton was a highly intelligent and talented individual from a young age. He excelled academically, graduating in the top 25% of his high school class with outstanding achievements. After joining the U.S. Air Force, Pelton displayed a remarkable aptitude for intelligence analysis, particularly in linguistics. He became fluent in Russian, a highly valuable skill during the Cold War, while working in Texas and Pakistan. In 1965, with these specialized skills, Pelton was recruited by the NSA, where he was assigned to operations targeting the Soviet Union. Despite his talent, Pelton exhibited signs of immaturity and arrogance noted by colleagues and superiors. While working in England from 1966 to 1972, he became embroiled in personal scandals, including sabotaging a slot machine and having an affair with a colleague's wife. These incidents led to reprimands, tarnishing his professional record. Although he earned a respectable salary equivalent to about $245,000 annually in today's terms, Pelton was not promoted to higher managerial roles, likely due to his personality and disciplinary issues. His stagnating career and personal troubles led to a major crisis. By the late 1970s, Pelton faced severe financial difficulties due to an overly ambitious home-building project and mounting debts. In 1979, he filed for bankruptcy. His financial worries not only affected his personal life, but also threatened his career. Pelton feared that during a mandatory polygraph test, his financial troubles and past misconduct would be exposed, potentially costing him his top-secret security clearance and ending his NSA career. Under this pressure, Pelton resigned from the NSA in 1979. He tried his hand at selling boats in Annapolis, but failed. With only a few $100s in his bank account and mounting debts, Pelton realized he possessed an invaluable asset: his photographic memory of numerous national secrets, including details of Operation Ivy Bells. On January 14, 1980, Pelton made a disastrous decision that marked a turning point in his life. In desperation, he contacted the Soviet embassy in Washington, D.C., offering to sell the secrets he held. This began a dark chapter for a man once considered a prodigy, transforming him from an intelligence analyst into a traitor. After deciding to sell national secrets, Ronald Pelton quickly contacted the Soviet embassy in Washington, D.C. On January 14, 1980, he walked in introducing himself as a former NSA employee with access to classified information. His first meeting was with Vitaly Yurchenko, a senior KGB officer. Pelton was candid about his motive: he needed money to resolve his personal financial crisis. His forthrightness, combined with accurate details about his former role, convinced the KGB that Pelton was a genuine and reliable walk-in spy. To avoid FBI surveillance, Pelton disguised himself as a construction worker to leave the embassy unnoticed. From 1980 to 1985, Pelton held several clandestine meetings with KGB officers in public locations in Washington and twice in Vienna, Europe's espionage capital. During these meetings, he disclosed a wealth of secrets about NSA operations, relying on his extraordinary memory to provide detailed accounts of techniques, targets, and eavesdropping capabilities. Pelton's most damaging betrayal was revealing Operation Ivy Bells. He provided the KGB with the exact location of the listening device in the Okhotsk Sea, one of the most closely guarded secrets in U.S. intelligence. He also disclosed details about a project called Vortex, involving spy satellites capable of collecting radio signals from high orbits. This betrayal had catastrophic consequences. In 1981, just a year after Pelton's disclosure, the Soviets sent a warship to the area and recovered the U.S. listening device. This not only ended a vital intelligence source, but also allowed Soviet scientists and engineers to analyze U.S. technology. The U.S. was forced to abandon plans to upgrade the online eavesdropping system, incurring losses of millions of dollars and collapsing one of the Cold War's most critical intelligence sources. Throughout his espionage, Pelton received only about $35,000 from the KGB, a paltry sum compared to the value of the information he sold. This amount was insufficient to clear his debts or resolve his financial troubles, but it was enough to lead to a life sentence and a ruined life. Pelton's betrayal was not only a legal violation, but also a severe blow to national security, causing immeasurable damage to U.S. intelligence. In August 1985, an apparently unrelated event became the key to Ronald Pelton's downfall. In Rome, Vitaly Yurchenko, the senior KGB officer who had met Pelton, unexpectedly defected to the United States. Yurchenko was one of the highest-ranking KGB officials to defect, bringing invaluable information. During interrogations, he revealed that the KGB had two moles in the U.S. Although he did not know their real names, Yurchenko described one as a former NSA employee nicknamed Mr. Long the Tall Man. Based on this description, the FBI and CIA launched a hunt for Mr. Long among former NSA employees. They quickly narrowed down the list, and when Yurchenko was shown a collection of photos, he identified Ronald Pelton. Yurchenko also provided a critical detail Mr. Long had called the Soviet embassy to establish initial contact. The FBI launched Operation Passerin, involving over 200 agents to monitor Pelton around the clock. They retrieved a recording of Pelton's call to the embassy, which his former NSA colleagues confirmed as his voice. However, the situation became unexpectedly complex. In November 1985, just months after defecting, Yurchenko abruptly fled CIA protection and returned to the Soviet Union. This shocked the intelligence community and posed a significant challenge for U.S. prosecutors. Without Yurchenko's testimony, proving Pelton's clandestine meetings would be difficult. Although the FBI had detailed surveillance records and the recorded call, these were insufficient for a solid conviction. Faced with this dilemma, the FBI made a bold decision. Instead of continuing surveillance to gather more evidence, they opted to confront Pelton directly, believing the only way to secure a confession was through psychological tactics in a controlled environment at a hotel. This was a high-stakes gamble. If Pelton remained silent or denied the allegations, prosecution would be nearly impossible. The final confrontation occurred on November 24, 1985, in a Hilton hotel room in Tysons Corner, Virginia. FBI agents lured Pelton under the pretense of needing his help with an unrelated case. Once there, he was led into a room prepared for an informal interrogation. The FBI's strategy was clever. Instead of accusing him outright, they presented a hypothetical story about a mole matching Pelton's profile, a former NSA employee who sold secrets to the Soviets due to financial troubles. Using details from Yurchenko and Pelton's files, such as his debts resignation and embassy call, they aimed to convince him the game was up. Initially, Pelton denied everything, insisting on his innocence. The confrontation lasted hours, with agents using psychological tactics to wear him down. When asked if he believed his actions harmed the country, Pelton weakly responded, "Yes," a breakthrough moment. Ultimately, Pelton broke. He detailed how he contacted the KGB, met Soviet officers, and sold secrets, including Operation Ivy Bell's location and other classified NSA projects. When asked if he knew his actions harmed national security, Pelton nodded. His recorded confession became the cornerstone of the prosecution. He was arrested on the spot. Pelton's trial took place in 1986. Despite his defense team's attempts to challenge the confession, as coerced, the court rejected this argument. Pelton was convicted on 4 of 5 espionage-related charges. The judge sentenced him to 3 concurrent life sentences, reflecting the severity of his crimes. The judge stated that Pelton's actions caused immeasurable damage to U.S. intelligence and security. Pelton's post-prison life was lonely. Released on parole in 2015 after 30 years, he lived with his daughter in Maryland, but remained estranged from his wife and children. He faced further issues with drugs and bank fraud. Pelton died in 2022, carrying the secrets and remorse of a life destroyed by betrayal. Pelton's case became part of the so-called Year of the Spy in 1985, alongside high-profile cases like John Walker and Jonathan Pollard. However, compared to Aldrich Ames or Robert Hansen, Pelton's damage received less public attention. His story also raised a significant question: was Yurchenko's defection and return a complex KGB plot to protect more valuable spies? Ultimately, Ronald Pelton's case is a profound warning about internal security vulnerabilities in intelligence agencies. It shows that the greatest threat can come from insiders with access to classified information who abandon loyalty for personal motives. The case underscores the importance of rigorous personnel screening, behavior monitoring, and data protection to prevent future disasters. Pelton's case not only ended with a life sentence, but also left lasting consequences, reshaping how U.S. intelligence agencies view internal security. His life behind bars and the unresolved questions about the case became a costly lesson about betrayal and the dangers of insiders. Immediate impact and legacy of a traitor. In 1985, when the FBI arrested Pelton, his case became an integral part of what the media called the Year of the Spy. Alongside cases involving John Walker, Jonathan Pollard, and Jerry Whitworth, Pelton's downfall exposed a disturbing reality. U.S. national security was under threat from those entrusted to protect it. While the damage from Pelton's betrayal, particularly the exposure of Operation Ivy Bells, was deemed severe, his story received less public attention than that of spies like Aldrich Ames or Robert Hansen, possibly because it centered on technical intelligence rather than direct weapon sales or colleague betrayal. Pelton's personal life mirrored the destruction he caused. Released on parole in 2015 after 30 years in prison, he lived with his daughter in Maryland, but remained estranged from his wife and children. He faced further troubles with drugs and bank fraud. Ronald Pelton died in 2022, ending a life marked by poor choices and irreversible consequences. Unanswered questions and conspiracy theories. Pelton's case left a lingering mystery surrounding Vitaly Yurchenko. After defecting and exposing Pelton, Yurchenko's sudden return to the Soviet Union sparked a major crisis in U.S. intelligence and fueled a persistent conspiracy theory. Was Yurchenko a triple agent sent by the KGB to sacrifice a less critical spy like Pelton to divert attention from more valuable operatives such as Ames or Hansen, who were uncovered later? Though no concrete evidence support this theory, Yurchenko's disappearance forced the FBI to rely on Pelton's confession, a risky approach. Lessons on security and the insider threat. Ronald Pelton's case is a stark warning for U.S. intelligence agencies and national security systems. It exposed critical vulnerabilities in personnel screening and monitoring, particularly for those with access to top-secret information. An individual with a troubled personal history like Pelton's, marked by financial and ethical issues, could retain sensitive secrets for years. The case underscored that threats often come not from external enemies, but from insiders driven by personal motives like financial distress, ego, or dissatisfaction. Pelton's story exemplifies how a capable but disloyal employee can cause immeasurable harm. In following the case, intelligence agencies reevaluated background checks, financial oversight, and psychological support for personnel to prevent similar incidents. In summary, Ronald Pelton's story is not just an espionage case, but a personal tragedy and a cautionary tale for the intelligence community. His betrayal caused significant losses, but it also served as a costly lesson, strengthening national security in an era of evolving threats. His legacy is a lasting reminder that loyalty and integrity are indispensable for those entrusted with protecting national secrets.